Hi, Michelle. Great to speak to you again. I know we did it live last time, but things have changed drastically since I met you. Do you want to tell me a bit about what's happening for you as far as OMERS Ventures?
Sure. Hello. Nice to chat with you again. OMERS Ventures, we are a multi-stage venture fund. So typically look at Series A, B, and C companies. We have offices in Toronto with the Bay Area and also London. I spend my time focused on real estate technology, so that spans everything from residential, commercial, and construction.
Great. And how's it been for you guys as regards the crisis and the lockdowns?
We've really gotten very comfortable with Zoom,
Great.
as everyone did, and remote diligence, and figuring out the best way to get to know people and build relationships remotely. But I happy to report that we're starting to do more in person, again, which has been nice.
Great. That's good. Um, I guess everyone's just learning to live with COVID now, right? It's like it's not going to go away, but we have to work out how to still have a life and see people.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk a bit about how investing has changed for you guys during the crisis and, where you're at up to now? Because I hear that most investors are saying the market's pretty hot at the moment. It wasn't initially when the crisis first started. So maybe you could tell us a bit more about how things have progressed during that time.
At the beginning, I guess in 2020, the main focus in that year was really changing processes and getting used to the remote deals and kind of doing diligence without meeting people in person and getting comfortable with that approach.
Okay.
Uh, and then I would say 2021, we've already mastered that. So a lot of companies and venture funds had done deals fully remote by that time. And then we did see a lot more this year. There has been a lot of activity. So a lot of companies are going out to raise, especially in the real estate space. I would say that many areas saw growth in 2020 or have seen early signs of recovery in 2021, which is resulting in really positive times to go out to raise capital. And there is also, I would say, a lot of capital out there as well, which has been great to see, especially on the real estate tech space. There are different funds focused on prop tech specifically and construction tech, which are really great partners for these companies, as well as more generalist funds like ourselves that look at multiple industries.
And I guess there must be changes in the real estate startup area. Is there like new innovations coming in or other things that you're seeing now that weren't around before the crisis?
I think the crisis helped with adoption of some of these
Okay.
technologies. So, some areas of real estate, for example, construction, was an area where I would say technology adoption was relatively low. And still, there is a lot of work to be done there. But I think the past year and a half, people had to resort to different types of ways of communicating or visualizing things, say on the construction site, which
Mm,
led to an increase in adoption of technology, maybe faster than the original curve.
great. So that's great for you and you guys, and also for the startups that are working on developing innovation, correct?
Yes, yes, definitely. And I think the other area where we've seen a lot of progress is definitely around the digital transaction for purchasing homes on the residential side.
Great.
At the beginning in 2020, I think people held their breath, weren't
Yeah.
sure what was going to happen when you couldn't go into people's homes. And
Yeah.
then a lot of technology that was already around really ramped up around digital closings, digital showings. And I think that technology is definitely here to stay.
Fantastic. And have you got any special portfolio companies you want to speak about in this time of change, that have emerged or that you're investing in or you're interested in?
So one of our portfolio companies recently announced their Series B. This is a company called Landed. We
Great.
led their Series A in 2020, and their focus is helping teachers and essential workers purchase homes by providing down payment assistance. Uh, it really follows our thesis around democratizing home ownership. And this is one company that I think we're seeing a lot of growth and potential, especially around as they move to different areas of essential workers. They expanded into healthcare workers, which was really amazing as well. So
Mm.
we're really excited for what they're doing and their impact on the community.
And what's your take on where things are heading now? Obviously, it's hard to predict, and particularly after what we've all just been through, it's even seems even harder to predict anything. I wouldn't have even predicted what happened, and so sort of was disbelieving initially in March last year when we went into lockdown. But there you go. Um, so I had to wake up, and I'm sure a lot of people did. So, but you guys have it like quite a fabulous spot at the table to actually see into the future. Where do you think things are heading, particularly obviously in the domain you're interested in, real estate technology?
I think across the three, so residential, commercial, and construction, I think there's still a lot of opportunity to make really big differences. I think in the construction space, we're excited about transforming what the leasing process looks like for commercial leases and office space. And I think there's hypotheses around a hybrid model or flexible workspace. So I think it's a little too soon to tell what's going to settle as kind of the new norm going forward, but we're really optimistic there and different technologies that can assist with that.
Okay.
On the residential side, we still see a lot of opportunity around how to purchase homes in new ways, new models enabling people to access home ownership, and whether that's through innovation around the mortgage product itself or how people get mortgages, we're still very bullish there. I think right now, like just seeing the convergence of uh, technology and kind of we're seeing a lot of in the real estate space specifically some really large companies that are seeing some really positive exits and IPOs. I think that also leads to lots of new companies being formed as people have experience and go out to start things themselves. So also excited to see a potential new wave of really early stage companies trying to tackle some of these problems.
Great. Obviously, the crisis has triggered off other crises, um, so we're really into crisis at the moment. But with the supply chain crisis, I know that again globally, building materials are very difficult to come by or more expensive than they used to be. How has that affected the industry?
I think the business models that rely on some of these commodities and supplies are seeing changes to their model and their margin. I think we'll see that first is just around the business model and profitability. And some
Okay.
companies it's a positive, some companies it's a negative, depending on where those sit on your statements. But um, I think it's still lots to learn of how it's impacted. I think one impact that we're starting to see is people trying to think of different alternatives to their supply chain if they are more vertically integrated, just to reduce the risk going forward, depending on some of the uncertainty.
Right. It's just interesting, isn't it? To see the two sides to the coin. You know, even the difficulties. There's always positives that come out of it, and being in the startup ecosystem, that's definitely the place where you can see the positives that can come out of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
And so my last question is, I know obviously the thing that we didn't expect was the mass exodus out of the Bay Area. How is that affecting? What's your perspective on that, and how is that affecting your industry? Basically, the industries that would be have startups in your industry. So,
Yeah, I know in the past year and a half there has been movement to emerging tech hubs such as Austin or even more on the East Coast to Miami or New York.
yeah.
I haven't seen any major impacts to our business. I find
Okay,
that when we look at opportunities, we're looking across the U.S. So
yeah,
it doesn't really matter to us where the company's based, but we are definitely seeing more remote first companies
and
where they have
yeah,
employees
sorry,
across.
yeah. So I always loved speaking to you because I love the Canadian accent, having lived in BC for a year, many years ago. So I guess that's really more my question. Personally, have you seen sort of a difference? VCs have left the Bay Area. Startups have gone down that couldn't survive the crash, the challenge. Personally, have you seen changes, and do you think it's going to affect us as a community?
Uh, I think on the personal front, I have seen a few people move to New York. So
Okay.
there's been kind of a bit of a wave of that on the investing side recently, but nothing like no major shifts that I'm aware of.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, it was an unexpected side effect, but obviously, um, if people can live cheaper and still do the to work remotely, then it's a positive, right?
Yeah, I think we'll start seeing a lot more movement of people and maybe having multiple offices or hubs across the country.
Yeah, I know that a few VCs have said that it's recently on the podcast that it means that the Silicon Valley is no longer the main point of where startups have to be, and that's a good thing because innovation happens everywhere, as you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Well, look, lovely to speak to you, catch up with you again, Michelle, and hopefully you'll come back down the line and give us an update on how things are going.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.